What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the live stream. Hope you guys are doing exceptionally well today. I always appreciate you guys smashing the like button, all that good stuff. Let me know if you got any questions in the live chat. I guess, sorry about my absence, but I mean, market's been kind of not too much really going on, so I don't really know if, I've been kind of just waiting for some type of outcome, some type of potential outcome on the, I'll show it to you right now, actually, on this, these longs entered in ETH long as well, but mainly the Bitcoin long, and then obviously you can see the, you can't see, let me move it upward. You can see all the realized profits over on, this ETH short, which was really good. So a bit more of, swing trading stuff. And I think that the rally in all likelihood, I think should, definitely should continue, but, we'll see, what ends up happening. I want to just see if we can move okay, it doesn't look like we changed the order here, but, so yeah, ultimately that's what I'm kind of looking at, for the trades right now. I guess we'll just, put this one or whatever, so everybody can see it. And yeah, I mean, always appreciate you guys smashing the like button, all that good stuff. So I was looking at a few things. Let's just start with, the thing that I've been talking about for, quite some time now, a week or two. This market's hasn't done too much since, past 10 days, which isn't too surprising given the, time of year, some trigger waves and such. I do think that you got a good shot of a rally higher. 108 has been my, my big figure for, a while. And I mean, breaking above 108 would be, where your boy may get more bullish. Your boy may turn on his, bull hat. You put your little, bull, you dress up like a cowboy when you're a kid, when you're 8 years old or whatever, that type of thing. And, so yeah, reversing more bullish. The other thing too would be obviously the 3-day, turning more into the brights on the EMAs. This has been, worse. This is the first time the 4-day has come into the grays on these Market Cipher A EMAs, since the last bear market begun and since the COVID bear market. I mean, you did have, it got different in 2019 as there was more volatility, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, it's more like bear market. It's not, wait, Coinbase, why is it? Wait a second there. I could have traded, this chart's a little, okay, it's not loading for that, so it might be a glitch. Anyway, I know Coinbase was around longer in 2018, but yeah. Anyway, and then up to right there, kind of a trigger wave upward, these points. So 102 to 108, big points. In all likelihood, you should get there. I mean, I would argue that, if you want to take the bearish case, which there's always going to be in the short term, maybe down to 77 yearly lows, or like 74. I mean, those areas are potential, but I don't think you're going to go there yet. I think you'll get there. I think you'll get there. What's up, Johnny? I'm in a second. We'll probably try to do, if you guys are listening after the conclusion of this live stream, I'll try to go in the Discord and we'll do a little chat with you guys for the live members. Check out the Discord, first link down below. Been doing well, especially on the the short, and then trying to hedge that or try to bet that we're going to go up for the long right now for that kind of recovery bounce up to 108. And then the things that you could kind of would strengthen that argument would be obviously these deep trigger waves and higher time frames. Now, like I just mentioned, if you go above 108, and this is for it's an important thing. If you're going to listen to anything, it's probably listen to this. If you can break above 108 and hold that, that's where things get good. That's where things get better. I mean, you'd probably want to hold that. People talk about weekly closes, all that type of stuff. I would just say hold 108 for a week would be cool. Keep it simple. These EMAs too, I just realized now 5-day EMAs are now in the red, or excuse me, the gray. So, similar to kind of those areas, and you had your little relief rally. It could be slow, guys. It could be slow. I mean, this was that February, and then you got choppy, and then Super Bowl, and then, then you fell off a cliff, so it could be like that. You had these areas right here, every time. I mean, this was weird because of pandemic, obviously that, that type of situation. I mean, 2019 to 2020 was pretty choppy, right there was where that bear market was. And if you kind of do this, just do this from, we're just trying to find bottoms here. I mean, obviously that one was quicker once you came into it could be, I mean, if we're going by certain things, it could be longer, but maybe more like 2018. Like I could see maybe in a bottom, especially with the new Fed chair coming in and all that, all that type of stuff. I could see that, we'll play it by ear. I would be looking for the 3-day to come back into the, kind of come back into the brights, which generally always a good buy signal. I mean, I guess you could argue, from bear market bottoms, always a pretty good buy signal, a little late in some cases, but, if you don't count pandemic drop down, that up, these type of areas. So, yeah, I mean, that's that. All out of alts entirely, not entirely, but like 80% outward. I sold a little bit earlier than maybe I should have. So I am outward. I mean, do you consider ETH to be an altcoin? I mean, I don't know. Do we consider ETH to be an alt? If we consider that to be an alt, then I still have alts, and a couple others, but we'll see what happens. I do think that ETH has a good shot, just like when they ended QT here, of continuing to outperform Bitcoin. If it does so, then, ETH is still a pretty big powerhouse. I want to look at these EMAs too on ETH versus Bitcoin. They're still in the brights, and I wouldn't be, this could go in the grays relatively soon if you break downward. I think this is going to be a, deciding factor on ETH versus Bitcoin, but I'm not too concerned about ETH versus Bitcoin, but I would be if you keep freaking bleeding against, Bitcoin after QT officially. It did officially end yesterday, but I think it takes some stuff about a month with the balance sheet to 2 months to really get the QE rolling or whatever, that type of thing. I mean, I'm not an expert, but, not a complete expert, but you know what I mean? I would think that short term, into, let's look at what's going on. So, here 90%, let's see, 90% chance of a cut. That's kind of already factored in price. I think that, into this December 10th meeting, you could probably stay bullish, and you may stay bullish at probably the most. Again, anything could happen. I don't like that that right there, but that's into the pause. And when the last time you had the pause was January of this year, and then after that, things came down. Just like my microphone's falling down here. I gotta buy a new microphone stand. This one's a little, but anyway, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. And Fed decision 92% chance of a decrease. Anybody gonna bet the farm on this? You could bet out into it. Okay, so let's see the odds for 70% chance of a pause in January. It probably will be a pause unless the markets nuke badly, before then. And then probably a pause in March. And then probably a pause. I mean, it's still Powell for all of these. Probably a pause in April too. And you could see it similar to, the first half of, or the first quarter or 2 quarters of 2025, where let's look at your yields. You guys like the yields? I know you like the yields. Where should we? Others versus Bitcoin's interesting with that green Heikin-Ashi there, so it could be a decent sign. But when you zoom in a little bit, it looks worse. On your yield, let's look at your 10-year, I guess. I just want to see when these started too, because I feel like if you're hoping for lower, I think they probably will gradually go down. Maybe I don't know, but if you look at what happened in the beginning of this year. Right? They did okay as the market went down. They went down a little bit, but they rallied into January 25. Then they kind of very choppy there, but we'll see. They could rally a little bit in the beginning, but once you get that pause, maybe they'll drop down. It's hard to say, but yeah. I mean, I think the time to probably buy, in general for Bitcoin would be, or ETH too. Or actually, let's look at ETH on so the 5-day is not. You're looking at 3-day EMAs in the gray. This 4-day will probably come in the gray. But let's look at 3-day EMAs are in the gray. Generally the times when you go into the brights, you get a little something at least, or a lot of something right there. A lot of something right. This is more choppy because there's higher volatility. It's kind of how Bitcoin used to be, a little bit more. Well, I guess a worse version. I don't know, but bear market, but right there, January 23, not a terrible place to get into ETH at 1,500. You still would have made money, throughout most of this. Bitcoin outperformed it, but you still would have made money, compound interest too, so those type of things. So that's that. So I mean, probably 3-day, going back into the brights would be. I mean, if you got an ETH at $135, you would have been waiting a while for anything to happen, but I would guess that if you can see a May bottom one month before, if you do something along these lines, 3,700, let's say, and then you see a May bottom, about a month before last time. I don't know if you'd go all the way down to 6. I mean, probably 18. I mean, you're not that bad. It's more. I mean, a lot of this is more about like, it's just like, you want to get, if you're going to sell, you want to put it into something that's going to outperform it by a lot. And the dollar may be one of those things, but the things that gold, you kind of invest conservatively, and then Tom Lee to buy more. I don't know what that's going to happen. I think long term it could be good. What's up, Carlton? What's up, AZTV? But I do think long term that you probably will, like Tom Lee probably will succeed. Long term, Sailor. I mean, long term, both of those could get right. Are you long on Zcash? I wonder what you're doing. Are you shorting it? I feel like everyone was trying to short. Yeah. I know Nightshade went short on Zcash. I forgot to short this, but it obviously doesn't surprise me that it's dropped down. This is maybe the time to try to long up a little bit and then drop down farther. Now, this daily is interesting because if you look at this daily on the EMAs, I've been looking at the EMAs a little bit more lately, coming into the bright there, nice rally. I mean, it was choppy for probably the last 10 years. And then, I mean, in and out, but probably once they go in the grays, drop down a lot farther. Yeah, so let's see, Sailor Leo, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, usually long term with that type of stuff, like, I mean, I don't know, in a crypto portfolio, like, how much, if you just wanted to, like, a whole crypto-related portfolio, like, I mean, how much should you put in MicroStrategy? Maybe 5-10%? How much should you put into BMNR? I mean, I don't know, 5-10%? Like, I mean, what is, like, a conservative crypto portfolio? Like, a 70%, sorry about the mic, 70% Bitcoin, maybe 5% MicroStrategy, 5% BMNR. If you're looking at, stocks, and then 10% ETH, and then, I don't know, you could do alts. I mean, we'll see. But right here, that was that drop down. So, I mean, that 22 was a doozy, obviously. I could see this going to 80, those areas. It is up a little bit, highly volatile, obviously. Palantir, let's take a look at that because that may be up a little bit. Maybe up a little bit, yeah. I think that, if you were to buy a put option on this, if anybody knows a lot about options, let me know what you think. If you're just trying to bet that, I'm not an options expert by any means, but if you're trying to bet that something like this will happen, expiration towards the end of next year, early 2027, strike price of like 70 or something, That's what I would say. Yeah. Well, why did you buy Zcash, AZTV? What was your, you thought it was going to go high? What were you trying to do with that? I'm just curious your strategy with the Zcash. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be. I mean, people have been talking about Pepe too. I mean, Zcash, the theory with that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know and have heard, the theory with Zcash was that the people were selling and trying to, use that to avoid paying them taxes, that type of stuff. That's kind of, they're selling their Bitcoin trying to, something like that there. Probably go like this. I don't know. Oh, wait. I want to look at this on XC. It's got more data, a little bit more data. Yeah. I don't know. This will probably rally back up to these. This could go all the way back down. I wanted to look at, speaking of meme coins, this was an interesting one. The reason why this was interesting, because this came all the way back up to that old all-time high from 21 and then fell off a cliff, as it should. I'm afraid to look at ApeCoin right now. I would assume probably nothing's going on. Oh my God. Yeah, this is zero, unfortunately. I mean, I'm glad I got out when I did. It was a gamble. I've told you guys I know a lot of you have seen me talk about this. I told you for the longest time it was a gamble. I mean, I did sell when I did, based on my strategy and all that. It didn't really make. I think I probably lost money on this, to be honest. Definitely, I mean, there was compound interest and stuff. It was all that, ecosystem. Being your own bank with ApeCoin, man. But but yeah, you learn lessons over time. But if you do things with this strategy, it's usually not as bad. And by the way, guys, if you want to trade with a strategy, as I would recommend, if you know what you're doing, there's some good bonuses right now. BYDFI, especially BloFin. Let me show you actually I got it right here, the BloFin situation. So you got VIP1, which is good for, this ends December 16th. You got 2 weeks. So some good deposit bonuses. Deposit 7K, 1K, but that's really good, guys. Check it out. I think BloFin's the best one to do right now if you want to trade. Good exchange. I've not had a problem with them at all. I'm using TapBit right now. I mean, they give me a nice bonus for depositing a lot of money. So that's cool. But BloFin's great as well. TapBit, they're all pretty good. Don't keep all your eggs in one complete basket. But I really like the promo right now with BloFin. Check it out. It's the pinned comment. If you deposit at least $150 and on any exchanges down below, make sure you open a support ticket in the Discord with your UID or your email, and we'll get you sorted. We'll give you one free month in there. We got Nightshade in there, got myself in there, providing a lot of good stuff, a lot of good strategies too. I'm going to update more my macro views and strategies on crypto, kind of the long term thing here. But I mean, long story short, I don't think it's worth the risk to buy it on spot right now. I would be looking for lower numbers, and I would think generally, 48K, 40, somewhere between 40 to 60 is kind of my main goal. And if you can get to those areas, and then you can get to 200K by the end of the decade at least, maybe it'll go higher hopefully, but 200K by the end of the decade, it's a 4x. It's pretty good. If you got big money, if you got 50 G's, guys, you got one Bitcoin. Let's just imagine you bought one Bitcoin at, let's say, most people don't buy the exact all-time high. I know some of you guys probably have, but let's say you bought one Bitcoin at 50K. Let's say you got in at 50K. What would it be a reasonable expectation for something that's, 10 years later or 9 years later, for something that you bought that everyone was talking about, including Tom Brady at the time, including Paris Hilton, including every person who probably had no business talking about crypto or Bitcoin. I mean, probably a 4x, 3x, 3, 4, or 5x, something is a good return, but nothing insane, So if you put in 50K, 250, 300, those kind of areas. Oh, gee, they do. Oh, damn it. You can't win with these damn exchanges. BloFin's okay. I haven't had a problem with BloFin, but why didn't they want to release their funds? What happened? What were you doing? What was going on there? They're the first person that's complained about BloFin. BitUnix had some issues. BloFin I've been using for a while now, no issues. BitFi was fine. I personally have not had many issues with exchanges. Very little. Especially when you're slonging. But yeah, sorry about that. Let me know if you're comfortable. I'm just curious what happened. What was the details with that? Damn. I stopped. I mean, I'll be transparent. I stopped BitUnix. I was messing around with. Some people complained about it. I forget what it was. It was something not that bad, but I stopped using it for that reason. Stopped it for that reason. And then I was, mainly the BloFin one. TapBit, not bad. It's got it right here. I mean, not bad at all. Some of these, I wouldn't even say it's a smaller exchange. It's a South Korean one. I mean, and so yeah, but not bad at all, guys. I do think, I feel like I still want to say BloFin's the best one, but there's no. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially the freaking bear market year, because we saw what Binance did. I mean, if you're if you're hedging the bets, you could do well. I mean, sometimes prop trading too, could be good, definitely. So yeah, let's see, at least 3x. Yeah, I would agree with that, Carlton Way. Shout out to Carlton Way. You've been around a while. Really appreciate you. Let's see, XMR seems to be a turtle in the project. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. let's take a look at this. I mean, I know Nightshade has talked about this, and yeah, I mean, long term, it's probably, generally long term, you would have been better off with Zcash. But if you factor in this, latest, crazy rally for Zcash, it's probably outperformed this. I'm too lazy to look that up. But yeah, I mean, the sad part of this is you're just not really making higher highs. I mean, you made a higher high here, but not really based off of inflation and all that. So we'll see what happens here. It's definitely held up well. My theory on this is these are jumping because big money doesn't want to pay no taxes on their Bitcoin gains. They're trying to get out of Bitcoin Ethereum. You know what I mean? That's kind of my theory, and that's probably a lot of people's theory. I don't know if I should be talking about that, but I think that's a little bit obvious, guys, too. I think that's like slightly kind of obvious. So yeah. Tried to move some of my USD and cryptos. They would not allow me to. Let's see here. Not limited. You were just trying to withdraw? They wouldn't let you withdraw, bro? Damn. I never had that out. And no exchange gave me big balls like that ever. I've been lucky, I guess. But, well, it's funny, the only exchanges that did crap, they let you withdraw, but the only exchanges that shut me down were the ones that shut crypto. Coinbase is the only one that's given me trouble, but I don't. Verify. Was it a security issue? That's weird, man. I've never seen that. I've never seen any. I believe you. Well, I mean, look, it was a headache, but you got your money back. I mean, I don't know. What do you think I should do? Should I stop using BloFin? You tell me. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I made money on them. I mean, I've been fine with them. I mainly move funds around, kind of. I go with who gives me the best deals. And when you're a whale, you even get better deals sometimes, depending on how you define a whale. But yeah. But yeah, let's see. Let's see here. I always appreciate you guys smashing the like button, all that good stuff. Yeah, let's see what's going on. Slightly down and that long with the other ones ahead. Well, hopefully we bounce here. I think we should continue. This confirmed on ETH. I mean, it's good enough to bet on it. You know what I mean? It's never going to be 100%. I don't know if you guys caught the Giants-Patriots game. Obviously, the Giants got destroyed. Yeah, but that kick that they screwed up on the Giants. Oof. It happens. Are you in a weird area, bro? Are you in like some weird IP, or it could be that. It's not KYC. There was somebody a couple years ago. I still talk to him. Really good guy. He had an issue with Bybit and actually never got the damn money off. It was something similar to that. So the KYC exchanges are a little bit worse with that, from what I've seen. I never had an issue with Bybit though. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, offshore exchange. Most of it, bro. Like honestly, like, most of the stuff that's gone down was the white exchanges. Let's be politically incorrect. It's the white exchanges that have gone down. It's not the Asian exchanges. It's the white skinned, the fair side. I mean, never. I should be. It's not the Asian exchanges that have gone down, but still they can. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. I mean, let's be real. The big point of Bitcoin was self-custody, your own keys, not your coins, all that type of stuff. Obviously, there's problems with that. If you end up in a situation where someone's holding a gun to your head, you're probably going to give up your keys or whatever. So that's why the ETFs could be good. That's spot holding. But yeah, in the UK. Is it allowed in the UK? Maybe it's that. I don't know. Maybe you should use a VPN. Some of them, BloFin, you're supposed to use a VPN now. I would use a VPN. I don't know about the UK though. Curious, how are you guys doing in the UK, man? Everybody, I've been talking to a few people from the UK over the over the months of traveling and all that, and everybody's complaining about it, including Andrew Tate. Yeah. Well, if they pulled that crap on you, I wouldn't use them anymore. Yeah. I mean, other than BloFin, I mean, what's good? I mean, BYDFI is not bad at all. That used to be formerly BitYard. That's one would not even VPN. They're not really that known enough for the regulators to get them. Looks like Bitcoin dominance may go up on this rally. I'm in the U. I'm just visiting family in the U.S. I'll be here, at least a few more weeks or whatever. But yeah, and I appreciate you, decrypto, dollar crypto. But yeah. That jump there. Yeah, Bitcoin versus. That's the thing too. This is a good. What are we on the weekly here? Bitcoin gold, these EMAs. Yeah. And then when do you get in? Well, you almost got an anchor wave. I mean, you made a slight new all-time high against Bitcoin, against gold here. Almost got an anchor wave. So I would look for these points in Bitcoin gold. Maybe lower, unfortunately, because gold is getting some. I've kind of changed my mind. I was a little bit more pessimistic on gold, but now I've kind of opened up to gold a little bit, especially with the monthly here, these EMAs. You had it a little bit there, and then it kind of reversed upward. I think this generally could outperform the SPY for a while. 10 of 8 to 15 years, 8 to 16 years. Appreciate you. Thanksgiving was good. How was yours, man? 20K cap on USD. It could be, bro. Yeah, it could. Some of did all the exchanges do that? Maybe, yeah. You don't have to put your money in. You could put it in Bitcoin. I mean, Tether is going to follow the US dollar. It's going to go down, obviously. But yeah. What's the R3A? Zero note. Explode. I don't even know what that. Yeah, he's been wrong too. But yeah, it's okay. Okay. Well. Only Americans. Yeah, that's an American holiday. People in the UK aren't celebrating. Some of you guys probably don't celebrate Thanksgiving unless you're in the US. But yeah. Let's see here. I don't know. I always look at Miami. One theory too, and this is people are going to say I'm a little bit cuckoo to saying this means anything, but in the UK, in the 1920s, real estate topped in 1925, but their stock market didn't top until 1929. Now, why is that relevant? Because they were, I think, losing their place, but kind of the world power still back then, and that could be kind of like the U.S. in the 2020s. Now, is there going to be a difference? Yes, but we'll see. I think this could be flat. That's kind of how it was in the UK. I think this could be flat for a while, but I do think that, and I don't think the nominal drop down is going to be that much worse than like a 15. I think this line in the sand 2022, you probably won't lose those. Like, something worth, let's say something was worth, let's make it real simple, $1 million. I probably wouldn't go down much below like 850, but you'd lose more based on, buying power, inflation, all that. Inflation's still at, 3% and all that. So, but then again, real estate's never going to be, real estate, if you can if you can invest the market decently well, you're always going to beat real estate generally, You have a lot of instruments and vehicles. If you can have patience and a little bit of discipline, you generally always, in my opinion, can beat real estate. Now, buying a place to live, if you're going to stay there, you know, that could be a good thing. But yeah. Most big names that go to UAE left for Dubai, Thailand. I didn't even see that, bro. I didn't see that. Yeah, they're trying to do an exit tax, UK. Yeah. The thing with the UK is, like, if you look at Ray Dalio's, like, you know, world power theories and all that, you know, changing world orders and all that, like, the previous world order, the previous world power, which was the UK, they're still relevant for, you know, about 100 years or 80 years after, you know. I mean, how many, when do you think, as somebody who lives there, you know, how long is Scotland still, in Northern Ireland still going to be part of the UK? 20 more years, maybe even less. I mean, you know, 20, 30 more years. 20%. But I mean, who was the world power before that? It was the Dutch, you know, Netherlands. I mean, you know, that's not, Amsterdam's still cool. I mean, yeah, obviously for tax purposes. Now, the thing though is, leaving, is that giving up your citizenship though? How do you define leaving there? I don't know the laws. I don't know. Oh, UK government. Okay, interesting. There was a CNBC. I have no idea about I didn't read into it yet. Where is it? About this digital asset treasuries, DATs. I don't even know what these are. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, usually you're better off to do this stuff yourself because the person managing your money, yeah. Oh, okay. So it tries to be like a, you know, ETF of, you know, yeah. Oh, yeah, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be the equivalent of something like the Nasdaq or the S&P 500 for crypto eventually. I think that's pretty, you know, that's inevitable. How long will that take? I don't know. Maybe 20 years, maybe 10 years. You know, you'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's mainly Sailor right now. I mean, there's a few others and that stuff, but usually you're better off to kind of do it yourself, I would say. You know, because obviously you would have done a lot better, I think. Well, let's look at that's a thing I'm curious about right now. Like if you were listening to Tom Lee, and I mean, yeah, I mean you would have. I mean yeah, I mean you outperformed. You're just making lower lows against Ethereum here. I mean, okay, this is when let's see. When they got into it and they first announced it, okay, I mean, you ever so slightly outperformed ETH a little bit, but you're down. I don't think there's a dividend on BMNR. Is there? I mean, I don't think there is. No. Oh, yeah, basically nothing. So, yeah. Become permanent resident. Okay, 20% on your whole net worth, yeah. But that's not, they're trying to introduce it so you can kind of get out now. Yeah, I would say, you know, I mean, it's not going to, it'll probably be the Netherlands is still decent. I'm just looking at history. I mean, Western Europe is a cold places, you know, expensive. It's not somewhere that appeals to me too much, you know, in my opinion. I still think the U.S. probably is a little bit better. It depends on everybody's situation. But, yeah, I mean, Thailand is the one people want to go to. Thailand's getting stricter. You got to get a visa now. Japan you could do. They don't care as much. Japan, that's a more expensive country compared to Thailand or Vietnam, but it's not that much more expensive and very developed. Depends what you're into. But, yeah, let's see here. There. Yeah, I mean, you were very sideways at this point against gold, and then you just fell off. Yeah, I mean, it could be more like this too, because we could be like right here, and then that would be annoying though. Yeah, if we're like that would be so annoying if you wait till September. It probably won't take that long, probably not. But yeah, this was a choppy area, and I would expect you would see more choppiness in the next 2 years. or just less choppiness. Maybe that's the power, less choppiness. I don't know. So let's see, Bitcoin. I mean, others looks good in the 3-week and probably the monthly, but other than that, there's not too much different or more. Yeah, not. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, they say go where you're treated best. I think that's an important part too. I mean, it's so unaffordable too, even for somebody who makes a lot in, the U.S. and all that. And you got a lot of people. I mean, I hear people saying like anyone who makes over 300 grand a year should pay 90% of their money in taxes. So you're left with 30K a year. I mean, it's not really. I mean, the U.S. Let's say just you have 3K, less than 3K a month. I mean, it's not going to go very far. So, yeah. Well, what do you think of the Netherlands? Is the Netherlands a better place to live than the UK now? I'm sure it depends on. It's small. Netherlands is small. It's still relevant. Yeah. Before the Netherlands was the world power, it was kind of Spanish, Portuguese, that type of stuff. I would say Dutch would be a little bit more advanced than Spanish, a little bit better in some ways, depends, than Spain. I want to go to the Netherlands at some point, though. Who's doing the, Let's see here. Okay. He was doing some psychedelics. Everything is rage bait, too. Let's see. Richard. That's the thing, too. I mean, 2020, they printed $6 trillion. All of the billionaires combined in the U.S. control $6 billion. So, I mean, yeah, it's only a few thousand per person. I mean, if you redistributed that. Everything is such rage bait, too. Everyone just posts such rage bait. That's the thing, too. Like, let's say this happens. I would be completely fine, getting back in at when these EMAs turn bright again around 113, 116, 120. I'd be completely fine getting back in January, February. These turn there and we go up to 300K. I would be back in. I got out. When did I get out? Sometime in mainly October, these areas, 100K or whatever. I'd be fine getting back in at a higher price. Getting up to 160, 300, you name it. I'd be completely fine with that. It's all about, Yeah. So much drama, too. Let's see. I heard this one I saw yesterday. Yeah, this one I heard about. Well, he's going to do if this post is correct, this post is not right. And probably vice versa. I don't know if that's completely. I think it's a little more than 8%, but yeah, I mean yeah. Well, it's just the wealthier countries. No one has kids. I mean, it's kind of the money factor. As the wealthier the country gets, and the more government, entitlements and all that type of stuff, there's less of a reason for people to have children. I mean, that's just wouldn't swap UK for yeah, even worse. Yeah, I would say overall the UK may be a little bit better than that, but it depends on the person. Yeah. I mean, the people in the Netherlands have a lot of pride for their country. I mean, I'm sure it's a good, Let's see. I like these sometimes. Okay, so up 200. Now you're up 100. Now you're up 300. I think it's 300, right? It's for everyone's saying 300. Anyway, that was pretty easy. Oh God. Oh God. Anyway, let's go to Twitter. Let's look at silver. I mean, I have gold. I don't have silver, but probably not a terrible. Let's look at silver versus gold first. So this was interesting here. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm not like. I mean, obviously, these areas it did outperform gold. Not so much in the 30s and a little bit in the mid, and then you get to 70s. Not so. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it just bleeds against gold generally, but it can, go up higher. I would say keep it simple, with gold, and I think that it did finally make an all-time high. Yeah, you could probably head up to 73 at some point, I think just it's a gift that keeps on giving. When the NASDAQ and SPY are done for a while, then you'll see your probably somewhat violent, correction or whatever. But yeah, well, I don't know how violent, but so yeah. We're trading. Let's see. But yeah, what's up, Vinny? What's up, guys? But yeah, Amsterdam's a place to go to at some point. But I feel like just the old, they're expensive. The old, Western Europe, UK. I mean, and I mean, second world's largest economy, China, pretty cheap place to live, and most of it. I mean, Shanghai, I've heard, has gotten more, but getting higher. Let's see here. What else do I want to talk about today? We're up about 46 minutes. I may do. Actually, I want to cook my lunch, cook my steak, and then I'll come back to we'll do a chat, guys, after I eat my steak and cook and eat my New York strip steak. Come back and we'll do a live chat in the Discord, and check it out. Link down below. I think it's a good value. Got Nightchain there myself. A lot of good analysis. Here are the latest trades. I think that we should do well. I mean, to sum it all up, what I've been talking about the last 45 minutes, I think you should generally keep going upward. I think there's more bullish things, that would strengthen an argument up to 3,700 for ETH, 108K, maybe 102K for Bitcoin, before potentially dropping down farther. That would be kind of my view. Hopefully, I mean, I want to rip the Band-Aid off as soon as everyone else. So yeah. Bitcoin focused ETF. Interesting. Yeah. That's kind of bullet. That'll probably help. There'll be a catalyst to help us come up a little bit. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Check out the links down below if you guys are interested in trading, especially the BloFin one. I mean, this is the best bonus I can find right now. It's been my link down below. Deposit this 7K, get 1K. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, guys. If you guys are interested. And ends December 16th. So, yeah, check it out. TapBit, BYDFI, great as well. 20% off your fees for life in all of those exchanges. So check it out. Links are down below. All right, guys. Really appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the Discord. We'll do a chat, I don't know, hopefully within the hour. Live chat. I'll see you guys real soon. Goodbye.